We are back, you all. We are back. And
I think it was the Russians.
That's who it was. We're talking today, for those of you who are just going to be tuning in, we're talking with Mr. Brian McGee. He is running for State Representative District 38, and that is 2 counties.
It is.
Where people need to know. Some people may not know, but it's for Chambers County and Lee County.
That is correct.
And you're actually live in Valley, but you're on
I'm in Lee County, physically in Lee County, with a mailing address of Valley.
But you've been canvassing yesterday. Let's talk about that. You were canvassing yesterday and a little bit today.
Oh, yeah.
What is the reception that you're getting right now?
Well, the reception is good. Now, you have to realize we're at a different stage. There's different stages in any campaign. And in the earlier parts of the campaign, you try to get your message out to everybody.
Right.
And then there are people that you would call persuadables. There are people that are on the far left, the far right, and you can't change their opinion no matter what.
Right.
All right. Now, you've got all the people in the middle, and those are the people you target in the early parts of the campaign. And then at the end of the campaign, the goal is to get out all those people that you feel are voting for you. And so that's what our goal is right now. We're right down to the last, and the idea is to get out the people that you feel will vote for you.
And how do you go to those people who may not know Brian McGee?
Well, this is a good forum,
right?
Okay, that you get to those people. You do it through Facebook. You do it also through mailings.
What do you tell them though? Just if they say, if you knock on the door and say, "Hey, I'm."
Oh, you're saying if I talk about
yes.
Well, the basic spiel is Brian McGee running for the Alabama House District 38, and then I'll ask them quite often what are issues that are important to them.
And what are you finding out the issues?
Well, a lot of people, it is healthcare.
Healthcare.
Healthcare is probably the number one issue. There are a lot of people, and this doesn't matter. It cuts through all levels. For the very poor, they can't afford it. And for the middle class, they can't afford it either, okay? So it's cutting through everybody. The amount of money that we spend on healthcare is just astronomical, and eventually it will change. There's too much greed in the medical system, in the pharmacy system, not the pharmacy, the drug manufacturer system, and eventually that's going to change. You see so many advertisements on TV for this drug or that drug or the other drug. You're paying for all that.
Paying for it, yes.
We are.
Yeah.
And so those things will eventually change because we've got to make healthcare more affordable.
So when you talk to people, that's
it's a big one. It's a big one.
What are you telling them that you would do? What's your goal for healthcare for people who are just
one of the
tuning
things,
in?
and we were talking about this earlier, if you caught the first half of the show.
You get 2 shows. Go ahead.
All for the price of one.
I know, right? Go ahead.
At any rate, the real trick is to using the Medicaid expansion. It's a no-brainer. This is not something that is hard. It is good for everyone. If I told you today that out there, because we had 10 years in which we would have had this expansion without paying a penny for it, and they didn't want to do it because they thought they could defeat it later, and they didn't want to help their own people, the 300,000. They didn't want to help them. They didn't want to bring us all this money and all this jobs. But the reality is, then they'll say, "Oh, well, now we've got to pay our percentage of it." Well, excuse me. If I was to offer you a car, a brand new car,
right?
Okay, and it was a $40,000 car, and I said to you, "Okay, I'll pay $40,000 car. I'll pay $36,000, and you pay $4,000. Are you going to take the deal?"
I want it.
I know it.
Well,
I want it too. Well, and so that's what's going on. You're getting it's not like you're getting something that's not going to continue. This thing continues. It continues all the time. And so it's a benefit to everybody. If you think about this, we gave up $21 billion. Now, I want you to think. Let's just take real simple math. If we brought $21 billion in, what percent do you think the state, the county, and the local governments are going to pull? I'm saying that they'll pull at least 10%. Well, that was $2 billion of additional money. That's right, of additional money that we chose not to take. Now, that would have been tax revenue that we could have had and not raised a single penny of additional taxes for the poor people, for the middle class, for anybody, and we chose not to do it. You know,
So
this is something we got to do.
What do you plan on doing?
We're going to get that Medicaid expansion.
You're going to get that?
I'm going to get it.
You're going to get it.
I'm going to get it.
You're going to get it. I heard that.
I'm gonna keep on until we get it, and we will get it. Eventually, you'll get it because it just makes common sense. And the people, if you tell them often enough how they're being ripped off by their politicians in up there in Montgomery, and they're being ripped off big time. Eventually, you'll get through to people. People are not stupid. They can do the math. You know, that we're being hurt, yes, we are, and we need to take.
And one thing we mentioned that we didn't go over was prison reform that you have here. Tell us about what's your take on prison reform.
Okay, I want you to think a little bit. How many middle class people go to prison? You got a lot of middle class friends going to prison?
Okay, no,
I don't.
No.
I don't. I mean, who goes to prison? The very poor people go to prison. That's who's filling our prisons up.
Okay.
Now, it costs how much to put a person in prison?
Oh, I don't know.
About $14,000 a year, someplace in there. We're really on the low end.
Okay.
But why is it that we do not take and educate the people, bring them up, give them reasonable jobs? If you work at a minimum wage job, $7.25, what is it? $7.25 an hour.
Right.
You work all year long. Every day you go to work. Every day you're going to make $15,000
a year
before taxes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's not enough to live on.
Right.
I mean, and so is it any wonder that the very poor end up getting themselves in trouble because they can go out and get some opioids and sell them, or they can get some whatever crack and sell it, and all of a sudden get a lot of money? It's no wonder they do it. You know, it's not like I'm trying to say they shouldn't. You have got to take, and you've got to bring in, and you've got to educate people. You've got to give them reasonable jobs, and you've got to give them a living wage. If you give
What's
people
a living wage
a living wage is more than $7.25.
I know that's right.
And I don't think we can, in fact, actually go to much past $10 an hour to begin with. Just simply, I don't know that the economic environment would help. And there are so many people, and they say, oh, no, we can't. If we do that, all that's going to happen is everything else will go up. Well, let me tell you, one of the things that has been the worst lie perpetrated by the Republicans and the wealthy is that the wealthy create the jobs. No, that's not true.
Who creates them?
The wealthy does not create the jobs. If I give $100,000 to a rich person, he's going to take that $100,000, he's going to put it in the bank, and he's going to say, thank you very much.
Ooh.
If I give $100,000 and I split it up amongst 100 people, and each one get $1,000 of the poor people, what are they going to do with the money?
What would they do?
You tell me. They're going to spend it. They're going to spend
Every
single penny. And you know what raises, what creates jobs is increased demand. If you increase the demand down here in McDonald's or whatever, okay, you increase demand at the Mexican restaurant down the street. What happens is they will hire more people.
They're hiring, right.
You know, more people to fill the jobs. And people say, well, they're not going to hire more people. They're going to have to lay off people because now costs are... No. Any businessman worth his salt has not got extra help on hand that he's paying that he doesn't need. He keeps the right amount of people for the jobs that he's got. And if demand goes up, he hires more. He doesn't let them go. He hires more people.
Because the demand is more.
Because the demand's more, and he's making more money. So this is fake as far as the idea that if we increase people to a living wage, that in fact it's going to hurt the economy. No. If you look at it, the states that have Democratic legislators are much wealthier than those that have Republican legislatures. There's a recent article that was out, I think it was in the Washington Post. Okay. And it's a fallacy. It's a fallacy, and we need to do. We gave a huge tax cut to the wealthy. Did that really help us? No,
it didn't.
It didn't. What happened is instead we have $2 additional trillion in debt that your children and my children and our grandchildren are going to be paying off. So what? For what? Did it create more jobs? What it did is it gave the wealthy more money. More money. And they make it, and are they making money? They're making a lot of money. If you go to Wall Street, they're making tons of money, okay? But if you go to Main Street, not so much.
So Main Street is not making.
Not well. I mean,
it's
it's a trickle down theory. You ever heard of that?
Yes,
I mean, some of it trickles down,
right,
and it proves everything a little bit, but not nearly as much as it does up here.
But it trickles down.
It trickles down, and you get the crumbs. And so we're supposed to be satisfied with just the crumbs. Is what it is.
Where my crumb at? Just kidding. The animal protection you mentioned
one of the
here.
things
Tell
it was
us about
interesting
animal
because
protection.
I've seen that online, and I
Wait a minute, let me, because I do see who is this gentleman. He's just tuning in. This is Brian McGee. He is running for District 38 and he handles Lee County and Chambers County. For those of you who are just tuning in, so continue.
We were talking about animal rights and what have you.
Animal rights.
One of the things that's come up. And it's come up through social media. Is the fact that there's a lot of people very concerned here in Alabama with animal rights, with pets and what have you. And it's an issue that needs to be addressed.
I honestly
you ever heard anything about it?
Yeah. I honestly, till you
you
sent it to me, and I'm like,
animal rights, whoa.
Animal protection. Like
anyway,
what is that?
Well, there are things, people that truly do believe that animals brought into custody by some of the dog pounds. We're not talking about here necessarily. But some in my district. That if they're brought in, they're treated inappropriately.
Brought into where?
Well, I can't take and go into a lot of detail only because I don't want to be making accusations without the proof.
Yeah, we want the truth now.
Right, and I've asked to go and visit some of these places and haven't been allowed to do it. I know that if elected, it's going to be a totally different thing. If a legislator says, I'd like to visit your facility, they'll let you visit the facility. As a candidate, they won't.
You can't.
No, I haven't been able to. I have asked. But I know that for many of our people. So what are you saying
that the speculation is? What's going on with the? Why is there a need for the animal protection? That animals, for example, that they end up in the dog pound, and then there's a law that allows them to be sold or given to other experimental places and stuff like this, and so it's legal. What potentially isn't legal is I was told that they're not holding some of these animals for the amount of time they're supposed to. And before they go and transfer them out. And so if you had a pet and you lost your pet and he's now sitting in on a pound and that pet gets transferred and you're still looking for him and haven't found him and didn't go down to the pet shelter to try and find your dog, the dog could be gone before the legal amount of time is up. I don't remember if it was like 7 days or 10 days or something like that. But that's part of it. But people are, I can guarantee you, there's a lot of people that are very, very upset about it. They're very worked up about it. There's also issues of how animals are chained up and left outside during very hot weather and very cold weather even, because we do have cold days here too. And so there are people that are very concerned that we treat our animals humanely because we're humans. And so human people should treat other living animals humanely. So people have brought their concerns to you about it?
Yes,
and so
it's
felt like it was the need to...
Yes, and it's on Facebook enough. It doesn't, you can find that without having to do too much research at all about what they're saying. Paul Motion and a number of other websites that feel very strongly about it.
I didn't know that.
It's an issue.
And you said promoting and supporting veteran services organizations like VFW and the American Legion.
One of the things, I'm a member of the VFW in Smith Station. And I was talking with them just the other day because they're not getting the young soldiers, a lot of them, are not joining those organizations. And they're good, quality organizations.
Why aren't they joining?
That I wish I knew.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
if I knew that,
Okay.
I'd be president of the VFW.
Oh, okay. I
really
you
don't
knew.
know, but I
Okay.
do know that they're in a lot of them. Also, I'm talking about the American Legion in Opelika.
Okay.
They have financial difficulties making ends meet, and these organizations work for the veteran. And it's a place where veterans can get together with their families and their friends, like, for example, over in the VFW.